The concept of wellness is no longer just about burning fat and building muscle. It's evolved into something far more holistic, including how we eat, how we sleep, and how we manage stress. Corporate attitudes towards well-being have also changed.
Employee well-being is being discussed at boards now because the liability of not having employee well-being is super high and is going to be even more relevant going forward.
One leader who saw this shift long before it became mainstream is Wellhub CEO and co-founder Cesar Carvalho.
The next step is corporate well-being become a standard that every single company has to offer, that every single employee demands their employer to do.
His vision turned the company into a multi-billion-dollar business that is reshaping how organizations and employees think about wellness. As part of Morgan Stanley's investment banking team, I've had a front row seat to Wellhub's remarkable expansion. I sat down with Cesar recently to talk about the company's journey and where the future of wellness is headed. Cesar, it's great to have you here.
Thank you for having me. Great to be here as well.
For those who are not familiar with Wellhub, tell us a little bit about what you guys do.
Wellhub is a technology company that's making well-being accessible to every single employee. And we're also helping change behaviors for the better at scale. And right now we work with more than 40,000 corporate clients, and we have over 5 million paid subscribers. Those subscribers are visiting more than 100,000 partners, different gyms, studios, and apps, more accessible, more flexible, and have more options than any traditional gym membership.
What was it that inspired you to do this?
Growing up in the countryside, in a rural area, I've always had well-being close to heart. I was a super active kid with sports and etc. And when I started working, they all went away. And I completely forgot about that part of my life. I was doing my MBA and I took a break, and I noticed there was an opportunity here to bring those two worlds together again and help not only myself, but every single other employee who was struggling with not keeping up with well-being. And that was when I decided to drop out of my MBA to pursue this amazing mission. And 13 years later, here I am still driving it forward.
How has corporate well-being evolved, across all companies and their attitudes towards offering this type of thing to employees?
It started as a cost center, and now it has already moved into an investment strategy and part of the overall strategy for companies. Well-being used to be an app for meditation, an app for nutrition, an app for physical activity, some partnerships with gyms nearby the office, or maybe an in-company gym. And the problem with those legacy solutions is that employee participation on those are extremely low. The new version of employee well-being is very different. It's about engagement. It's about a product employees would use every single month, many times per week.
The ecosystem that Wellhub has, from the companies to the wellness partners to the employees, it's very powerful. And I want you to talk through a little bit the interplay across those three groups.
Starting with the employees. They have access to a membership that never existed in the well-being space. It costs less than a traditional gym membership, but gives every single employee access to thousands of locations, many different wellness apps for physical activity, nutrition, sleep, meditation, and therapy. The companies that are clients of Wellhub love the product we bring to them because we get a lot of those people who were not previously active, were not previously engaging with well-being to sign up for the first time. They want to invest to get those people to change behaviors for the better, and they reap the benefits as well. And the last part of the equation here are our wellness partners, the different gyms, studios, and apps we work with that are included in our memberships. Because we're getting a lot of new people into this ecosystem, they're getting incremental revenue, they're increasing their earnings. Our ecosystem is the reason why our model is so robust and why also it's growing super fast.
In December of 2025, Wellhub reached a significant milestone, 1 billion check-ins, representing a 10-fold increase in just 3 years. That means 1 billion moments when subscribers visited a gym, took an online fitness class, or paused for a mindfulness break. For Cesar, this growth reflects a broader shift. Companies and employees are placing ever greater value on health and fitness. What is the business case to the company itself?
We help people change behaviors and get to a healthier life. And we track ROI in 3 different fronts. The first one is healthcare costs. Healthcare cost is probably the single large expense after payroll for every single company. That cost is growing at a very fast pace, and prevention is the key to save 70% of those costs. And even though that's obvious, only 4% of all spend goes into prevention. A second part is on employee retention and the acquisition of talent. And it's going to be quite clear for the employees currently working in the company and for prospective employees that those companies who are embracing well-being, that they care about them. And those companies are going to have an amazing ability to attract people over time and retain the best talent. The last part is on sick leaves. Employees who are active, who are constantly exercising, are engaging with well-being, take fewer days off, and therefore they contribute more not only to their families, to their lives, because they're being productive, not sick, but also to the companies as well.
In 2019, Cesar decided to move the company's headquarters from Sao Paulo to New York. Since then, Wellhub has rapidly expanded into major U.S. markets. But growth doesn't stop in the Americas. Talk to me about your strategy for further international expansion.
Most companies start in the US, they grow very fast, and then they sort the international piece afterwards. And then they struggle with the different currencies, languages, and the localization strategy for every single small market. I think the benefit of Wellhub is that we sorted that international piece first. We sorted the complexity and we solved for it. And now our most important challenge, which we're executing successfully, is scaling very fast in the US. Huge market where well-being is more prevalent than in other places, and it's at the forefront of innovation in this space.
The fact that wellness partners are incentivized to join the platform does make you very insulated from the different things that change in the fitness and wellness industry.
I've been doing this for 13 years. It happens all the time. It's like the movies industry. There's a new blockbuster every year. Mm-hmm. You know, pickleball was the most recent one in the US. There are new ones coming. You know, CrossFit was at the peak at some point in time, Zumba, you know, and it will keep happening. And this is what keeps well-being fresh and why companies are better off picking a platform that's constantly getting better over time versus trying to build each one of the solutions on their own to each of their employees.
After stepping away from a traditional corporate path to build a company that reimagines work-life balance, Cesar is now on a mission to turn every organization into a wellness company, one where employees check in with their well-being every day. And that philosophy starts with him. I've got to know, a day in the life of the CEO of Wellhub. What are you doing, start to finish?
It starts with a high-intensity workout, a sauna and a shower before I jump into calls with my team. I try to have a healthy lunch, some meditation, calls with our clients and partners to get feedback and build a better product. I try to use Headspace to meditate and to hear sleep stories so I can go to bed on a high note. Look, I use Wellhub every single day, visiting our partners, trying different activities. And to me, that is what makes me a better CEO. But in addition to using Wellhub every single day, even when I'm traveling, last week I was in Germany, used our international check-ins to visit Home's place there. This morning we're here at Lifetime. I already did my check-in in the morning, to exercise before I work. So I try to integrate it in my routine. I try to meet with my team in healthy events. So instead of going to a bar, why don't we do a yoga class together or a meditation session together? Meeting with our partners, our vendors, why not to do it in a healthy way so that we build on those habits?
Can you talk a little bit about your leadership style? How are you able to inspire your employees?
If I had to pick two words, I would pick empower and trust. Empower because I deeply believe all the decisions in the company, they need to be made either by my direct reports or by their direct reports. And I'm very big on pushing decision-making down so that we can be the best at making those decisions, considering the perspective of whoever is running the business closest to action. The second thing about trust is about treating employees like adults, giving them flexibility if they need, the chance to prioritize well-being, and still deliver the results that are expected of them.
If I were to go 20 years into the future and look back, what is the type of legacy that you personally and your company would like to leave?
What we're building here is not only critical for individuals themselves, You know, if you're active, you're exercising, we're going to live longer and we're going to live better lives as well. But this is also critical for society and for companies. And my legacy, I want to be to have every single company be also perceived as a wellness company. And I want well-being not to be something employees do twice a week, but for it to be a daily habit. And if that happens in the world, I think my kids are going to live in a better world 20 years from today, and that will be an amazing legacy every person would be very proud to leave.
Cesar, thank you so much for being here. It was great catching up and learning more about the company.
Thank you for having me, Emil.
The day is not over, though, until we do a workout.
Let's go for a workout together.